and welcome back to the channel. In the previous episode, we were putting in our forms and we did wrap some plastic around it to make sure the deck doesn't glue on to the forms. Make sure you subscribe, hit those post notifications, and always give us a thumbs up. Let's get right into it. So one of the things that I need to do is, if you really take a look at this, there's the cove and then the curved aspect of this. And what you want to do is you actually want to have the rounded ends on the outside. So on each one of those outsides. So if you really take a look at these, you can't just kind of put them together like that. So what I'm going to do is I'll get my table saw set up and get it so that we're just going to take off that real little small little cove there. Just enough so we've got a flat surface to glue that against. So those are cut. I think we're going to be able to, I had to match to make sure that they were the same width as the one in the back because I didn't cut them at the same time. I guess it really wouldn't matter because you wouldn't be able to see the difference. But I'm going to clean this up, get this back taken care of, and then we'll get back to gluing these pieces on. And then I'm going to start working on some really long pieces that we'll cut. So I got the very first piece down on both of those sides, and they line up pretty good. I think what I'm going to do is probably come back through here, and I'm just going to, in these areas in here, I'm going to put some tape on it and make sure that it is tight and let it dry so we can get this a whole lot tighter. I don't like putting these staples in. Maybe I should. I think the biggest reason for not liking the staples is it really has to do with what it's going to do to the mar of the actual wood. I just don't know. But I'm going to come back through here and I'm going to tape these all up, and then I'm going to start cutting out and probably even epoxying some of these things together so that I can make the big long strips along the side. So what I'm doing here is I want to join both of these two pieces together so that it gives me a longer length so that I can run that entire span. And so the only way to do that is to actually cut this in the same angle. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that these are the same. Now, the biggest thing is I don't have a big enough barn, so I'm going to have to kind of improvise how I do this. So I think if I cut this well enough and straight enough, we should be able to blend those two together. But we will see. Okay, now that I have enough here for two rows, I think what I want to do is really contrast it. And this is the Alaskan, I think it's kind of like Alaskan white cedar, and there's some red cedar. So I'll really take and contrast that a lot. So it'll come to that color. And then I think I'll come back. So 2 of the dark, 1 of the Alaskan. And I'm trying to think whether I want to do 1 or 2 of the walnut again. And then the rest of it will just be a blended color. Because, you know, we've got the dark walnut in the center there. And I think what I end up doing with my wife's is I'll do the complete opposite. So I'll do the lighter, and then I'll actually, yeah, I think that's what I want to do, and then probably blend the darker in so that we know whose boat's who. And it could be either one. It really doesn't matter. Although I think she wants a better seat in hers, but we may find they'll be the same. So I think I'm going to cut the rest of these, and then that's all that I'm going to do for today. Okay, so I've got all of these taken care of. Got enough to do some nice one contrasting. So we'll go 2, 1, and I've not cut. So 1, 2. I've not cut the other ones, but I don't want to do that yet. Because, you know, maybe what I want to do is maybe I want to do 2 walnut, 2 of these. But I'll get them together, because the next thing we've got to do is have warm enough weather so I can come in here and actually do some epoxy and epoxy these together. I think I'm going to have to open up the doors, and so I need to have it warm enough. And if that is the case, what we'll end up doing is once those doors are opened up, I'll cut some more, and then we'll get them all epoxied all at the same time. So then we'll be able to kind of move forward. Because I think what's going to happen is, which it's going to be kind of nice, I think, is that, you know, we'll have 2 pieces up in here. There will be 1 here. And I think that may be all we want to do in this area. If I come up here to the front, the bow of the boat, you know, we'll actually have a bead of dark oak or the walnut all the way up here. So I actually think we'll do those 2 things and then see how many more of the kind of fusing them together, how many we need to do. So that'll be it. So we're really not doing a whole lot today. Actually started on another project in another location. But one of the things that I needed to do, it's actually a beautiful day outside. I think it's about in the 80s. But one of the things that I wanted to do is I've got to run all of these really long pieces. So I actually took and started putting these together. Now, I've got all of these kind of wedged in here, and hopefully they're not going to all be glued together. But, you know, I didn't have the clamps to go far enough. I wanted to get it all done all at once because of the weather. Now, I still know I've got to do some other ones, but I've got to have the end open up. I mean, it's barely enough room in here to do the full extension. But I went ahead and I put these together. I need some more clamps. Highly recommend getting more clamps with some longer jaws. So the way that I kind of fixed this is I ended up taking, and I got it so far, made sure that these things were together, because really the reason why I was doing this is making sure that these all fit together. So I've got these little sheets of plastic in between each one. But I then got it down here, and I still didn't have enough room, so I took this 1x and then this 2x4 and kind of locked that into place. And you can't push it all back, but I got it as tight as I could, and then I just took a hammer and kind of tapped so that all the gaps would go away. So I'm gonna just let this dry, and maybe tomorrow we'll start laying some additional slats down. So I'm looking forward to doing that tomorrow. Hey, welcome back to the channel this morning. I know it was pretty quick, but one of the things I was able to get all of the splicings together, and so the couple things that I want to do today, because really I can't do much. I mean, you put about 2 rows on and then we'll let those glue. But I did notice that I've got a few little areas that need to be taken care of from here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some tape. I'm just going to take some tape and tape that down. Some packing tape on both of those sides. Then I don't have to go back in and glue them since they will be coming off again. So I'm going to get that done, and we'll then start putting the first rounds of these straps in. Okay, that was fairly simple. It also will provide some additional protection so that it won't glue down here. But I think what I'm going to end up doing here is just taking and lay a couple down. I need to turn on the air compressor so that we can make sure that I'll take, and I think I want to staple at least the first. And we may need to staple the second, but we'll find a way to really make those tight. I've got tape here. Matter of fact, I've got to go inside and get that tape, but we'll just get going. So I'm going to make this first cut. The one thing that I'm kind of worried about is, I mean, I could do everything straight, but what I want to do is I want to curve this around. And there's a lot of tension on this, so we'll kind of see how that'll go. Cut this very first. So I'm going to get some sandpaper. I'm going to put it on, actually I want to take and do it on this edge. Put some sandpaper around this edge right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually sand this to kind of get a little cove so that it'll match in there. I need to get some 120 grit paper. 220, that will take a little while. good. Probably be really good if you had one of those, just a cove cutting router tool that you could just run in. So I know you can't see it too well in this video because it is kind of a time lapse, but as I was stapling in the very first row on the deck, because of the tension, it just snapped. That scarf joint just did not hold. So now back to the drawing board and rebuilding, finding a new way to get those scarves a lot more sturdy. Thanks for watching today. I know we didn't do a lot, but I think this was a pretty good progression. It is starting to get cold out. I did buy a heater for in here, and I've got all the doors shut. As you can see outside, I mean, it's still green, but it's starting to get winter around here. It's definitely in the fall. Thanks for watching. See you on the next episode.